What's up, boys and girls, and welcome back to Laying the Points. This is going to be an abbreviated Week 13 podcast. Going to go over every single game against the spread, maybe even talk about totals a little bit. It's obviously a holiday week. I'm going to try and enjoy that, take off a little time myself, take a little bit more time back for me and my family. But with that, there's still a slate of NFL games to go through. I still want to give you a lot of my takes. If you haven't already, check out Substack, farleybets.substack.com to get all of my insights. I have a few free plays in the NFL for this week out already. We were plus 6.81 units in the NFL in week 12, 3 straight winning weeks, winning in the NBA right now too, up plus 8 units in November. Betting the NBA very sparingly, but when we do, we're winning. And of course, we have some thoughts. And I'll pick a side on every single game I talk about on this show. Those are not my official picks. It is more of a me communicating my take to you about which side I would take if I had to take it. Because I know you don't only bet on my sides, you don't only take my bets, right? You're trying to think of things yourself. And maybe you like some sides more than I do. So hopefully my information can help. You can follow me at the Chris R. Farley on Twitter. I went away from Farley Bets. I don't know. Farley Bets been around for a little while. I don't think it does much for me. I wanted to contribute to X in some other ways other than just sports. You might have seen that. So that's my brand change, if you will. This is still Laying the Points, and this is still mostly an NFL podcast, perhaps more NBA talk in the near future. Before I get started, and let me clear my throat. Before I get started, I just want to give out a general tip, some advice. I get into little skirmishes with people on Twitter pretty often. Not often, but enough to where I've received the feedback that I'm not very good at receiving advice. I'm not very good at receiving feedback from others on X. I just want to say that my take on that is I can't believe that anyone would have the audacity to react to one of my tweets with their advice on how to sports bet or how to conduct a contest, how to win a contest. Think of the audacity that that takes. I can promise all of you that 0% of the time do I see somebody, and I disagree with a lot of takes, right? But I never comment on a post and say, oh, you might want to consider this, or that's the wrong way to think about that, especially in the world of sports betting. People love their models. People are married to certain advanced metrics. Again, I incorporate all of these things. You can't not incorporate metrics and numbers. This game is about numbers first and foremost. And the high and mighty personalities on Twitter, and you know who you are. You know who you are who have commented on my stuff, tend to think that their way is the best way, tend to think that their way is the right method, a black and white right method, correct and incorrect. I'm just here to tell you, and I just want to state at the top of this show that nothing could be further from the actual truth, which is that when you have 22 individual human beings on a field at the same time, all the nuance that takes place, it numbers and models cannot accurately predict that. It can certainly help, but my methodology, my approach is to look at this game of football and sports betting in a very nuanced way from various perspectives, including psychosocial elements, which you will hear me talk about when I go through these games. I think that's the most comprehensive way to do it, but it's my method. And I don't tell other people to do my method. I just say, this is my method. And guess what? It's worked. Over 200 units in the NFL and NBA the last 5 years. I won Circuit Contest twice. I will win again. I guarantee you. Not in Circuit Millions this year for sure, but you'll see. But that doesn't, it's not about me proving that my method is the best. It works for me. So again, just want to reiterate, find your method and don't listen to other people. If it works, stick with it. Okay, Thanksgiving games of week 13, the Packers at the Lions. The Packers, I think, are the more complete team. Certainly the better defense, but this is a revenge game for Detroit. My instinct was to bet on Detroit here, but I'm not sure if I can do that. I think the Packers make a great teaser leg. I think this game probably goes over. It's ticked down a little bit. It's at 48 now. It was at 49, 49 and a half. I do think the Packers offense will look better against a Detroit defense that, I mean, look at what Jameis Winston did to them last week. They're not very good right now. Their secondary is still banged up. If I had to make a play here on the spread, I would choose the Lions because of the revenge factor and Dan Campbell kind of answering the call. I trust him as a coach more than Matt LaFleur. But the Lions are not a better team than the Packers. Chiefs at the Cowboys, by the way, as you could see, incorporated some psychological, intangible elements into that Lions and Packers play, right? I think the Packers are probably the better team still. In this case, I would bet on the Lions before I would bet on the Packers. Bengals at the Ravens. Bengals are 7-point underdogs on the road at Baltimore. Sorry, I skipped over a game. Let's do the Chiefs and Cowboys first. The 4:30 slate. Cowboys +3. That was +3.5 at most books. I'm going by Bet Online for this show. It's a sharper book. They have the Cowboys at +3. This is a tough spot for the Chiefs because, you know, they're coming off a tough game against the Colts, short week on the road, overtime game, right, against the Colts. So they're taxed. But I do think that their offensive momentum, right, how they kind of found their groove and they played really complete, great football in the second half and the fourth quarter especially, is going to carry over into this game. I've seen the Cowboys a little too excited about themselves before. The Cowboys offense is certainly something to respect. I said they were going to win last week. You can look at the tweet on Saturday. They beat the Eagles. Wasn't pretty. They started off poorly, but it did happen. I do think the Cowboys are a real threat in certain situations. I don't think in this situation that they're going to show out better than the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs run, and it hasn't been much of a run yet, right? I mean, only their first win in a row. But we're approaching December. This is when Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes do their best. Give me the Chiefs -3. Bengals at the Ravens. I put out an official play on this one. I won't say what that official play is, but with Joe Burrow returning for the Bengals certainly makes a difference. They will be without T. Higgins for this game and Trey Hendrickson still, two of their top 5 players on their team, no doubt. Jamar Chase is coming back. He acknowledged that what he did was wrong, spitting in the face of Jalen Ramsey. That is obviously wrong. But, he's a mature kid. He admitted that. That's what you want. Joe Burrow is excited to come back. It's concerning to me that Lamar Jackson has ongoing injuries. This time it's a toe injury. The Ravens defense has not faced anybody they haven't faced a great offense other than the Bears the past 5 weeks in their current winning streak. And the Bears gained plenty of yards, over 370 yards on them. They just didn't put up the requisite amount of points. But I'm not convinced that the Ravens defense is good enough to even slow down Joe Burrow, even without T. Higgins. This game has historically gone the Ravens' way at Baltimore. They should be able to do whatever they want against the Bengals defense. The Bengals defense is very, very bad. There's no doubt about that. They played a little better last week, but I think that was more of a regression spot for the Patriots. But I have to go with the Bengals +7 here if I had to pick a side. Total is really high, understandably so. I would also go with the over in this game. I don't think we see a lot of slowdown here. Joe Burrow versus Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry and that rushing attack probably does enough to win this game. Bears at the Eagles. Eagles also 7-point favorites, also at home, following a loss. Obviously, letting the Cowboys come back is worst case scenario for Eagles fans and the Eagles franchise. No one they hate more than the Dallas Cowboys. So it's just very interesting to look at this Eagles team and see how much they win, but then obviously see their very obvious flaws. And they got them on offense. Their defense capitulated a little bit last week. I don't think this is exactly the same situation. The Bears passing offense is not elite. Caleb Williams has been good, but like advanced metrics, EPA, they're not that explosive. They're a better running team. and their defense is not very good. So this is a situation where the Eagles, you would expect them in their Super Bowl, you know, blood, whatever, however you want to put it, shows through here and they win this game. But again, I would have to go with the Bears. A full touchdown against the Bears team that's been very good at, covering, and a long winning streak now, right? The Bears sit atop the NFC North. They don't want to give up that spot. This is an NFC conference competition in terms of two teams at the top. So I think it's going to be tight. Eagles win, but I would go Bears cover. Texans at the Colts. We still don't know if CJ Stroud is going to play in this game as he works his way through concussion protocol. That is a little weird. My buddy Andrew pointed that out, I believe, on X. Agree with you, Andrew. It's weird. And the Colts are coming off that loss where they kind of blew it against the Chiefs. I do think that the regression is going to kind of continue here for the Colts. They are not anywhere close to the best team in the NFL, in my opinion. They have a really solid, consistent operation, but against better teams, I don't think we're going to see that consistency quite as much. Daniel Jones is certainly going to have his flaws, and this is a super test for Daniel Jones against a team that's also used to playing in a dome, against the Houston Texans defense that I think is the best in the NFL. They rank as the best in the NFL by many metrics. And they're going to get after Daniel Jones in this game. And 4.5, like I'm getting 4.5 on the Texans, even though they're on the road. I gotta like that. I think even if it's Davis Mills, this is a Texans team that's going to at least hang around. It's going to be a lower scoring game as usual because that's what the Texans do to games. 40.6. Oh no, I'm sorry, 37.7 points per game is the average Texans game for good reason, right? They're such an elite defense, they slow everything down. I think this game is slowed down too. And give me the Texans in that spot. Cardinals at the Bucks. We don't know if Baker Mayfield is going to be 100% for this one. His non-throwing shoulder is hurt. Jacoby Brissett, leading the offense for Arizona, has up and down performances. I thought they probably should have won last week. I had them +3. That was an annoying push because they were ahead for a lot of that game. This is just a really tough one. If I had to go with the side, I imagine Baker plays and the Bucks cover, but we don't know about We don't know about Baker at this point, and the Cardinals are among the most inconsistent, unpredictable teams in the NFL. So if I had to go, give me Bucks. Not a lot of trust for the Cardinals at this point, but decreasing trust in the Bucks too. Jags at the Titans. Jags are -6.5. The Jags, who, again, every other week probably should have lost last week against the Cardinals. The Jags are just kind of up and down. Trevor Lawrence is perennially annoying, makes mistakes when he shouldn't, doesn't lift the offense to its full potential. They're running the ball more. They probably should. It doesn't matter. Trevor Lawrence still finds a way to kind of mess something up. The Titans are also not to be trusted, but it's a divisional game. They're at home. They're getting 6.5. It's interesting that it's 6.5, isn't it? If the Jags are a playoff team, at least a fringe playoff team, at least a fringe AFC North, or excuse me, AFC South contender, this should be a 7 against the Titans team who can't win, can't cover, hasn't shown much, but it's not. Give me the Titans +6.5. Rams at the Panthers. The Rams are a full 10.5. Part of me is like, how is that possible? Because the Panthers have been a lot better at home. Bryce Young has been a lot better at home. But it makes sense as far as every metric that exists about these NFL teams. The Rams are an above average offense. Not only above average, they're top 5. They're top 5 offense, top 5 defense. They're actually the number 1 rated defense per EPA metrics in the NFL. And we see it, right? We see how they're decimating teams. They have these games that we perceive as challenges, and they're not a challenge. They make it work. They win by margin. They eviscerated the Bucks last week. So I get it. I just, again, this is where I don't ignore metrics, but I look at it holistically. The Panthers want to compete in the NFC South. This is kind of a dead letdown spot for the Rams, who are still humans. It's a little riskier to go into Carolina in a game that doesn't feel that inspiring. 10.5 points is a lot in an NFL football game. So I would take the Panthers here. Don't really feel great about it, but I would take them here if I had to. Saints at the Dolphins. The Saints are 6-point underdogs on the road at Miami. Who is Miami to be getting that kind of designation? 6-point favorites at home, but still. I'd have to go with Miami, though. I really would. The Saints are obviously still in operation, in flux. A lot of people liked the Saints last week, coming off a bye, thinking that the Tyler Shugg and Kellen Moore regime is here. It's not something we can trust yet. And clearly they weren't ready for it. The Falcons showing out as the better program there. Probably should have bet on that one. Probably a pretty obvious spot to bet on the Falcons. But the Dolphins at home, off a bye, Mike McDaniel and the team has figured some things out. They still can run some high octane offense out there when they want to. I think that's worth picking the Dolphins. It's ugly, but give me Dolphins. Falcons at the Jets. Gross. Jets make a decent teaser leg. They're at home, but are you going to trust the Jets to keep a game within contention at any point ever? I don't know if I am. The Falcons and Kirk Cousins are, again, the Falcons are sort of like the Cardinals, sort of like the Jags, very inconsistent team, very up and down. Defense that was top of the NFL to start the season. Now it's towards the bottom. They did good last week, but that was against the Saints. Are they going to show up on the road outside? Kirk Cousins outside. You can't love it. Like, you can't love the spot for the Falcons. I would have to lean Jets here. 49ers at the Browns. This one's going to be messy, folks. I don't think I can bet on the 49ers because the Browns are at home where they play much better. Let me bring up the exact stat here, but I believe the Browns have covered at least most games at home. But it's going to be snowy in this game, probably. It's going to be windy. It's going to be really cold. It's a very typical Cleveland Browns situation that tends to benefit the Browns. Okay, 1-0, 2-0, 3-0. Yeah, the Browns are 4-0 at home against the spread. Okay, so like the Browns or not, like Shedeur Sanders or not, these are the spots where the Browns do better. Now, I do think if there's any player or any team in the NFL that is due massive regression, it's the Browns. It's Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders talking like he's the man after one game. Like, regression is coming. Regression is due. So, I don't like that for the Browns. But defensively, the way Brock Purdy looked on Monday night, I think the 49ers are going to keep the ball in Christian McCaffrey's hands, try to run out the clock. This is going to be a low-scoring, ugly, ugly game. I got to tell you guys, I got this for 38, under 38. I don't even know how I got that. It's down to 36.5. It should have never been at 38. I still love this under. Look at the under, guys. Even at 36.5, not the same value. 37 and 38 are key numbers and totals, but that one's going under. Lean Browns. Or I would pick the Browns if I had to. Vikings at the Seahawks. The Seahawks are in a prime spot here. And that's, thus the spread. 11.5 at home. The Vikings have a huge quarterback problem. Apparently, J.J. McCarthy, 9, has a concussion that just magically appeared after the game. Interesting. Maybe they're forcing him to sit once again. Carson Wentz is still injured, so they would have to put in this third string, like rookie backup. I don't even know his name. I forget his name. I just read it. Don't care. Terrible, terrible situation. The Seahawks should fly at home in that one. That's all I got to say about that. Bills at the Steelers is always really interesting, especially with the spread. Plus 3.5 for the Steelers at home. Buffalo is flawed. The Steelers, are they going to get Aaron Rodgers back? Still up in the air about that. Maybe it's Mason Rudolph, so they protect him, but Aaron Rodgers is hoping to play in this game. Totals at 47, which is right on a key number. So there's a lot of market indecision in this one, but whenever you're getting a 3.5 on a home dog like the Steelers, this is a Mike Tomlin spot. It is what it is. You just take the Steelers. That's the only side I could look at here. Josh Allen and the Bills have a lot to work on. And after a loss, they could explode here. But you don't like this spot for the Bills either. Raiders at the Chargers. Chargers are 9.5-point favorites. This was, I believe, was at 10 at a certain point, which is understandable. I'm just going to be very short with this one. The Raiders are a terrible team. The Chargers, this is what they do best. At home, well, not because they're at home, but when they play bad teams, they destroy them. They do well. They win, they cover. This is that situation, and they're coming off a bye. Charges all day, -9.5. Broncos at the Commanders. It was 6.5. Now it's down to 6. A little respect for the Commanders at home. Jaden Daniels really wants to come back. He's making that clear. I think he probably will, but we don't know that for certain yet either. But Bo Nix and this Denver Broncos defense, especially the defense for Denver, they get it done every game. They're the second highest scoring team in the fourth quarter, 9.5 points per game. So they'll come back and they'll make a statement in that final quarter if they don't throughout the other 3 quarters. Certainly, as a Giants fan, we've seen that. I got to go Broncos here. Like the Commanders, by every metric, you look at their old defensive roster, you look at their lack of playmaking ability on offense, and the fact that a guy like Terry McLaurin has been out, there's just a not trending in the right direction for Washington. Finally, the Giants and Patriots. Patriots getting that 7.5-point hook. Man, oh man. I think the Patriots make a great teaser leg here. The Giants are very good at losing. The Patriots are very good at winning. I believe they won, 7 or 8 straight games now. They've covered in most of those. Even when they don't look very good, they still find ways to win and cover. It's impressive. We don't know if Jackson Dart's going to play yet. He might. Don't think it makes a huge difference. I like Jackson Dart. I hope they sit him, actually, because I don't want this kid to get more injured. Jameis Winston is fun to watch. But I don't think the Giants defense is going to stop the Patriots and Drake May, who's been ultra efficient. Meanwhile, the Patriots defense is ascending every single week. If you just take them by their metrics after what I believe was week 6, so October 12th, they faced the Saints. If you look at their defense from that point on, and part of it is because of their opponent, right? But I mean, they're not facing a great opponent here either. But the Patriots would qualify as a top 5 team in every category defensively. So this is a complete team. Would have to go Patriots in this circumstance too. For those who continue to listen to Laying the Points, and I know I can get fired up, I can get rowdy. This is definitely an adult show. I don't hold back. Thank you for listening. Appreciate your support. You can get all of my plays, all of my information, farleybets.substack.com. Stay tuned for more NBA as well. Kind of going slow with that for now. That tends to be working out. We're still in Circa Survivor. Wish us luck. Big things ahead. And follow me at Chris R. Farley, at the Chris R. Farley on X. With that, ladies and gents, have a great Thanksgiving. See you for week 14, where I am sure to have another great guest. Until then.